So the records have come out about Canadian tourism to the United States, and it's not good. We're losing billions. Canadians do not want to come to the United States anymore. They're boycotting our alcohol. They just kicked the ambassador and every American out of the party for the Gordie Howe Bridge. They're boycotting just about every product that they used to buy from us. But they're not coming here either. The American tourist industry from Canada has lost $3 billion this year. We're only in the 7th month. $3 billion, we're only in the 7th month. Canadians do not want anything to do with Trump or anything, his tariffs, his threats to take over the country, or anything else. And now Americans are feeling that. All of our tourist industries are losing money because Canadians don't want anything to do with the USA anymore.
Canadians are boycotting the United States in record numbers, and well, it's working. It's hurting America's tourist industry more so than we've ever seen before. A new report from Canada's government shows that the United States has lost more than $3 billion in revenue from Canadian tourists that are boycotting the United States because of Donald Trump's administration. In July, year over year, visits have tanked 30%. It's the first time since 9/11 that we've seen such a decline in the United States of America and Canadians visiting the United States of America. The catalyst? Donald Trump's return to the White House, the tariffs on Canada, his attacks on Canadians for wildfire smoke, and so much more. And what's clear in all of this is that if Canadians want to continue this boycott, it will likely only continue to harm the United States of America. Billions and billions of dollars are being pulled out of America as we speak.
So Jim Beam, the liquor distiller, is shutting down operations in the United States for the whole year of 2026. And the reason why they're doing that is because their biggest export market is Canada, and Canada is refusing to buy American liquor in protest of the aggressive nature of the Trump administration. And it's had such a huge knock-on effect on Jim Beam sales that they are cancelling operations for the year of 2026. They will not be making any more liquor this year. Now, people are going to say, well, that's very sad, and, why are Canadians doing this? We're doing this because your president is a fascist pig, and he has to be stopped. And this is one way that we can do it to stop it.
If you're a Canadian who's chosen not to go to the US, well, they have the old Cheeto fascist in charge down there, give yourselves a pat on the back. We cost that administration $3 billion in tourism funds. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, breaking news. A conversation that many people dismissed just months ago is becoming much harder to ignore. For across America, business owners, tourism officials, and even economic analysts are acknowledging something that is starting to show up in the numbers. Canada's boycott isn't just symbolic anymore. It's becoming expensive. And if the trend continues, the financial impact could stretch even further. Let's talk about what's really happening. Folks, my name is Willie, DocuStories. If you're watching me for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel, like my videos, and don't forget to click that notification so whenever I post, you get notified. Let's get after it.
About a year ago, many Canadians made the decisions to stop traveling to the US. And honestly, a lot of Americans, including their president, said, who cares? They're politicians. Oh, they didn't care. Interesting, though, a year later, specifically a week ago, I noticed a couple politicians coming out saying or expressing their concerns on the lack of Canadians traveling to the US. Now, I thought it was interesting, but you kind of get this every couple of months from them when they're trying to get Canadians to cross the border. And because it's summertime, I just assume that's what they're doing. But then reports started coming in. And these reports started telling a interesting story. Because you see, in 2024, 39 million Canadians visited the US. So there was 39 crossings from Canada to the US in 2024. That dropped by 25% a year later. So when Donald Trump took office in 2025, that number dropped to 29 million crossings. Now, I don't even think they truly cared about that until the dollar value started kicking in. $3.3 billion that cost them. And that's where you started seeing politicians coming out and expressing their concerns. Because it's more local than you may think it is. New York, Maine, Arizona, those are the places that are being affected. I think I forgot Michigan as well. A congressional report warned the US that a lack of Canadian travel will hurt hotels, restaurants, and just businesses along the northern border, which is why you have these senators coming out now saying, give America a second chance. Now, New York is promoting discounts on hotels and restaurants in hopes that it will entice and encourage Canadians to start traveling to New York again. Now, will Canadians start traveling back to America? Do I think that this relationship can be fixed? Probably with time, but I should alert Canadians to this. We, as a country, respected Americans, and we are one of the few countries in the world to do so. You go most places in the world, they hate Americans. But I will say that the feeling between us and America was one-sided. Because when Donald Trump started his 51st rhetoric, Americans took that and ran with it. Their media outlets took it and ran with it. Their politicians took it and ran with it. And even the Democrats who are now coming out and speaking remain quiet. Their entire fan base took it and ran with it. Yeah, a few people were like, oh no, but majority of them took it and ran with it. I was reporting throughout this entire process, and I would know they took it and ran with it. The reason why they're now coming out and speaking up against it is because midterms are around the corner, and it's great talking points. We could fix the relationship or make it better with Canada and the US. It's great talking points for these Democrats. A year ago, you can hear from them. When Donald Trump made his comments, people were saying yes and praising him. I read it, and I'm pretty sure most Canadians experienced it. So what started off as a little protest and them saying they don't need us, well, until next time.
Did you know that we are being boycotted by the entire world for tourism? We lost approximately $21 billion just in 2025 in tourism. Now I want you to multiply that by 4. Let me put some perspective on that. Our largest group of visitors are Canadians. They spend $20 billion every single year. And what that does for the U.S. economy is it creates about 150,000 jobs. 150,000 jobs. Let me give you some perspective. In 2025, Trump only created 550,000 jobs. You can see where that 150 would be very important, right? Well, in 2024, Biden created 2.1 million. So we need jobs in the US that we're not going to have because of Canadians, other countries boycotting us, and Trump. That 150,000 jobs, also, the rest of the economy was stimulated by hundreds of thousands of jobs more, specifically Las Vegas. Their number one industry is tourism. If you do not think that a tourism boycott is going to be catastrophic to the USA, you are not paying attention. Have you canceled your trip here? Many are saying the World Cup is going to be an absolute disaster. That would have brought us extra revenue, which would have attributed to extra jobs. We are desperate for job creation in this country, and it's not going to happen. The Canadian boycott of U.S. tourism is crushing Las Vegas. Not only is it crushing Las Vegas, whose number one industry is tourism, did you know that Canadians are the largest group of international visitors to the United States? They are. We are set to lose $70 billion in tourism alone just for 2025. The Canadians boycotting U.S. tourism, they spend $20 billion annually. $20 billion alone in the United States of America. In addition, they are boycotting U.S. products. I guess having a president who has ruined our deepest relationship, our deepest ally, as people said to me, who pisses off Canadians? They are the nicest people. We have zero trade deal with Canada, our most closest ally before this administration. The $20 billion annually contributed to an extra 150,000 jobs created and stimulated thousands more. I do not blame Canadians. I don't even want to live here. What a disgusting administration. FAFO Las Vegas, FAFO United States of America.
So Canadians have been boycotting the United States and not traveling here because of Donald Trump, and it really worked. Canadians made 29.1 million trips to the United States in 2025, which is down from 39 million in 2024. The drop was the sharpest in more than 50 years of record keeping, and it's not like Canadians just stopped traveling altogether. They just started going other places. So for example, trips to Asia from Canada jumped 16.7% year over year. Trips to Europe also rose 13.6% year over year. So Canada gave Donald Trump the middle finger, and it looks like it worked.
Oh my God, you are not going to believe this. Did you know we've lost $21 billion so far in tourism just for 2025 in the USA alone? But guess what? Please don't shoot the messenger. Do you know that 2 senators have introduced a law begging for Canadians and Mexicans to come to the USA? You just heard me correctly. They're signing into law this, asking for Canadians and Mexicans to come to the USA, fearing that people are not going to come here for FIFA. They're not going to come here as tourists. Because why? They're boycotting the USA. Do you remember when Donald Trump said, we don't need Canada, and also tried to make them the 51st state? You heard me correctly. So now 2 senators are trying to introduce a law to beg Canadians and people from Mexico to come to the USA. No. You cannot make this up. We are on human rights watch list. We are rounding up brown people. We are putting people in concentration camps. They're not going to come here. I don't care what kind of law you sign into, what kind of legislation you introduce. Do you agree? This is so asinine. You can't even make this up. Are you coming here when we are asking for 5 years of your social media? We're rounding people up, just dropping them in detention centers, no due process. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. This is one of the most asinine things that I have heard of, and it's coming from one of my senators, Catherine Cortez Masto. So this is simply going to be a piece of paper. I'm so embarrassed to even make this post. $41 billion. The U.S. has lost $41 billion in tourism revenue so far. This is unrecoverable. It's going to get much worse. Did you know that tourism accounts for $3 trillion of our economic activity every single year? So tourism is a nice chunk of GDP. Las Vegas numbers are in for April, and they are down 7%. 20% just for the month. Tourism cities like Las Vegas, New York, California, Florida are going to be feeling the pain the worst, but all 50 states will suffer because, of course, all of our money goes to the government, tax money, and into the economy. 20% of our visitors, so 1 out of 5 visitors, comes from Canada, and they come 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year, are not coming. We have a 40% decline right now in Canadian visitors. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. This $41 billion loss means loss of jobs created and loss of jobs stimulated by tourism. We're talking about hotels, restaurants, airlines, local taxes, and it's going to be that way at least until he is out of office, but maybe some of them are no longer coming back. This is huge because this is a huge economic loss to our economy.
Yeah, folks, I hope you have watched those videos. Let me say this, folks. For decades, Canadians have been Americans' largest source of international visitors. Millions cross the border every year, filling hotels, restaurants, shopping malls, beaches, and tourist attractions. It became so normal that many businesses simply expected Canadians to keep coming. But then, everything changed. Political tensions, trade disputes, and growing frustrations encouraged many Canadians to spend their money at home or somewhere other than the United States. Now, the economic consequences are becoming very difficult to ignore. Recent reports estimate that reduced Canadian travel has already cost the United States economy billions, not millions, billions of dollars in lost tourism spending, with fewer hotel bookings, restaurant visits, and retail purchases. Communities that once depended heavily on Canadian visitors are feeling the slowdown. Some tourist campaigns are even openly trying to win Canadians back. But why? Let's ask ourselves why. Because it's very true that replacing millions of loyal visitors isn't easy. Canada has always been one of Americans' closest economic partners. We all know that. Let me say this. When Canadians stop crossing the border, entire local economics notice. They all notice. This isn't just about vacations. It's about jobs, smaller businesses, family-owned restaurants, retail stores, gas stations, and even hotels. Even every dollar that stays in Canada is a dollar that isn't circulating through many American communities. That's why, let me say this openly, that's why more Americans are begging to recognize that the relationship between those two neighbors, America and Canada, has real economic value. Whether people agree with politics behind the boycott or not, the financial impact is becoming part of the national conversation. And perhaps, let me say this, perhaps that's the biggest lesson we have learned here. Canada may have a smaller population than the United States, but its economic influence, especially in tourism and cross-border spending, is far larger than many people realized. Sometimes, influence isn't measured by size or by population, for instance. It's measured by participation. So, folks, This story isn't really about who wins or loses. Let's be clear here, let's clean the air. It's a reminder of how deeply connected Canada and the United States truly are. When one side changes its behavior, the other side feels it. So, folks, let me know what you think. What do you think? Is Canada's boycott sending a message that America can't afford to ignore? Or do you believe things will eventually return to normal? Folks, share your thoughts in the comment sections. And let me say this. If you enjoy thoughtful commentary on Canada, North America, and other stories shaping both countries, please, folks, don't forget to like my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.